Enid Blyton, The Land of Far Beyond. Chapter 1. The City of Turmoil. Once upon a time, in the great city of Turmoil, there lived 3 children. One was a boy called Peter, and his sisters were Anna and Patience. The city of Turmoil was a great, noisy, dirty place, full of streets, houses, shops, and marketplaces. The children wandered about, looking at everything, playing games in the streets and the parks, and only going home when it was dark, or when they were hungry. There were schools, of course, but the children went to school only when they thought of it. Their mother and father let them do exactly as they liked, just as most of the other children in the city did. "Let's go to school today for a change," said Peter to his sisters one day. "It's story time today. It is Wednesday, isn't it?" "Oh, don't let's go to school," cried Anna. "I've thought of a lovely thing we can do. Let's go down Twisty Street and ring the bells there and run away. Then people will come to the door and nobody will be there." "Oh yes," said Patience, dancing around. "That would be fun. Come on, I don't want to go to school." "You look very dirty," said their mother. "Have you washed this morning? And Patience, you really must mend that hole in your dress." The children took no notice. Children hardly ever did take any notice of their parents in the city of Turmoil. They just grew up as they pleased and did what they liked. They ran off. They came to Twisty Street and called the other children they met. "John, Lily, we're going to ring the bells. Come and see us." 2 or 3 more children came along, giggling. "This is where Miss Crosspatch lives," said Peter, running up the steps of a tall house. "Now hide, you others." The children scattered behind a cart as Peter tugged at the bell. A peal sounded through the tall house. Peter fled down the steps and joined the other children. The door opened, and a thin, tall woman with spectacles on her nose looked out. She was astonished to see no one there. "I feel sure I heard the bell," she said to herself, and shut the door again. The children giggled, and Peter sped up the steps of the tall house again. He tugged hard at the bell. Jangle, jangle. It could even be heard by the children hidden behind the cart. Peter ran down the steps at top speed and crouched behind the cart, laughing. The door opened, and an angry face looked out. Still nobody there. "It's those children again," said Miss Crosspatch, frowning. "Wait till I catch them." She slammed the door. The milkman came up the street whistling. He had some butter and eggs for Miss Crosspatch, and he rang the bell. Jangle, jangle. Nobody came to open the door. The children hugged themselves for joy. Miss Crosspatch thought it was some naughty boy again, of course. The milkman rang again and again, and then again. The door suddenly opened, and Miss Crosspatch appeared quite certain that the bell was being rung by children. The milkman dropped the eggs and butter in amazement. "Now look here," he said in a rage. "Now look here." "Oh," said Miss Crosspatch, looking at the bag of broken eggs and the packet of butter on the steps. "Oh, I thought you were some naughty children. Look, there they are, the tiresome wretches." The cart had suddenly moved away, and Miss Crosspatch had caught sight of the 5 children who had been hiding behind it. She ran down the steps toward them, but they could run much faster than she could. and were away at the end of the street long before she had got halfway down. "That was fun," said Patience, stopping to do up her broken shoelace. "Really, that was fun." "Let's ring one more bell," said Anna. "I'll do it this time." So up the steps of another house she ran, and pulled at the bell. She ran down the steps again, and hid with the others behind a fence. A maid came to the door and looked angrily up and down the road. "The children are getting worse and worse," they heard her say as she banged the door. "What shall we do now?" said Peter. "I feel rather hungry." There was a shout from the next street, and the children turned to see some more boys and girls that they knew. "Hi, come along with us. There's a barrel of fruit down there." "Good," said the 5, and tore off to join 2 bigger boys. They were bad boys who stole from shops and barrows. "You come and help us," said the boys, Ron and William. "See that man with the barrow there? Well, we want 2 of you to help us, and we'll be able to get as much fruit as we want to." "That's stealing, and the policeman might get us," said Patience. "Pooh, don't be a coward," said Ron. "Now listen, which of you are the fastest runners?" "Peter and Anna," said Patience. "They run like the wind." "Well, Peter and Anna, you must run up to the barrow and dance around it, calling out rude names to the man," said Ron. "You must make him so angry that he'll chase you. As soon as he's gone, we'll run up and help ourselves to the fruit, and we'll share it with you when you get back." "All right," said Peter, "but I hope we don't get caught. Come on." Peter and Anna ran up to the barrow. The other children hid behind the corner, watching, waiting for their chance. Peter began to dance around the barrow, keeping out of reach of the man in charge of it. "Hello, Pieface! Hello, Stick in the Mud! Hello, Slowcase! Can't catch me! Can't catch me!" "Go away, rude boy," said the man. Peter dodged out of the way. Then it was Anna's turn. "Your apples are bad, your pears are all maggoty, your flowers are all falling to bits, and so are you," sang the rude little girl. The man ran around the barrow after her. "I won't have you children checking me like this," he shouted. Peter put a foot out, and the man tripped over and fell to the ground with a crash. His face was red with rage when he got up. "Can't catch me! Can't catch me!" shouted Peter, rudely, putting his tongue out. The man ran after him. Peter sped off down the street in the opposite direction to that in which the other children had planned to run. Anna ran too, and the man, muttering to himself, tore after them, quite determined to catch them. As soon as he was safely down the street, the other children ran out of their hiding place. But when they got to the barrow, only Ron and William dared to take the fruit. The 2 boys crammed their pockets full, keeping an eye on the running man. He had nearly caught Peter and Anna. They shouted to him, "Look what's happening to your fruit!" He turned, and when he saw the other children around his barrow, with Ron and William helping themselves, he gave an angry shout and ran back up the street, leaving Anna and Peter to dance about in glee. When Ron and William saw him coming, they raced off with the others and were soon safely round the corner. The poor man didn't know what to do. If he chased them, he was afraid that Peter and Anna would run up and help themselves. So there was nothing for him to do but to stand by his barrow and say the rudest things he could think about the children of the city of turmoil. Peter and Anna ran round another way and joined the other 5 children. They found a great quarrel going on. Ron and William would not share with any of the others. "No," said Ron, "we got the stuff. None of you others helped yourselves. You were such sillies. Well, you can't expect us to give you any then." "You are mean," said Patience fiercely. "You promised to share." Well, why should we keep a promise? Asked William. It's only stupids who keep promises. Nobody keeps promises anymore. You shouldn't have believed us. We're not giving you any of this fruit at all. Then there began such a fight. The bigger boys soon sent all the children flying. Then off they went with their pockets crammed full of fruit to eat it in a safe corner. The beasts, said Anna, beginning to cry. Oh, don't be a crybaby, said John. What shall we do now? Look, there's a dog nosing around the dustbin. Let's throw something at it. A big clod of earth struck one of his back legs. He began to limp. He snapped at Peter and got away between the boy's legs. He limped off down the road, yelping in pain. And then the stranger appeared. He came walking round the corner and saw the limping dog at once. He called to it, and it ran to him on its 3 legs. Who's that? Whispered Patience to Anna. I've never seen him before. Isn't he strange? The stranger was only strange because he was so clean and neat and lovely to look at. He wore a short tunic of white, and his feet were shod with sandals. His legs were wound about with thongs of leather. He bent over the dog and lifted up the hurt leg. It was bleeding. Poor fellow, said the stranger in a deep, kind voice. Poor fellow, what has happened to you? The dog wagged its stump of tail and licked the stranger's hand. The man looked up at the children. I must bathe this dog's leg, he said. Where is there some water? There's a river down the end of the road, said Peter. The boy wanted to run away before the man found out that it was he who had wounded the dog on the leg. But the stranger seemed so extraordinary and mysterious that he felt he had to stay and watch him. Hasn't he got a shining face? Said Anna. And what deep, gleaming eyes, said Lily. I like him. I want to run away from him as I would from most grown-ups here, and fancy him bothering about a dog. I've never seen anyone fussing a dog before. Come and show me the river, said the tall stranger, looking at the children with his deep eyes that shone like a blue pool. And obediently the 5 children guided him down the street to where the big river flowed along.